Returning to our top story now, and the government's deal with the Greens over the pension reforms, and with me the responsible minister, Scott Morrison. Mr Morrison, thanks very much for your time. Were you surprised how little you had to give the Greens to get them on board here? It's only an extension of something you're already planning.
Well, it's good policy. And that's why I think it's been supported, and they have had a view about having these matters regarding retired incomes being part of a review or a tax white paper process, as we finally agreed. It is good policy, and they came to the table on good policy. The Labor Party chose not to. We sent the same information to the Labor Party that we said to the Greens, and what we saw yesterday is Bill Shorten chose politics, not policy, and now he is left stranded, absolutely stranded on an island of his own making, which is the island of reactionary politics.
But he believes that he's drawing a line in the sand here, that you're going to target pensions. He's defending pensions. Clearly the battle lines are drawn. You're saying he's targeting super.
No, well, he is targeting super, that's very true. But what he refuses to do is support a fairer and more sustainable pension. He wants to support people who have more than $1 million in addition to the family home, continuing to receive a part pension, while those on lower and modest level of assets, he wants to deny an increase to their pension.
That's for couples, though. $500,000 for singles, isn't it?
Well, just over that. I mean, just over that for singles, and that's with their family home as well. And the current threshold was well above that. It was about $750,000 or thereabouts. So we're making the pension fairer. He knows that's good policy. Jenny Macklin knows it's good policy, but he chose to try and create a political wedge on this yesterday because he's all about the politics. He wanted chaos in the Senate, he wants chaos in the Parliament, and the government has worked together again to get this arrangement.
Did you have any indication from Labor at any point that they were considering getting on board with this, that they were sounded promising or encouraging on this particular reform?
Well, there were a range of measures where they were quick to say no, 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 which we're quite used to. On this one, they actually didn't say no immediately. They drew that out over a longer period of time. I'm not surprised when Labor says no. That's what Bill Shorten does. He always goes for the politics over the policy. But on this case, there could have been a different outcome, and I don't think those who believe in good policy had the victory in the Labor Party, and I know they were quite divided and riven over this. That's no surprise either. And at the end of the day, they look foolish now.
Well, I think that they were basing their final decision on modelling that they were awaiting, which showed that across the decade, I think it was 1 million pensioners that were going to be adversely affected. Is that figure right?
No, we don't accept those figures. I mean, the Labor Party are talking up the book of those who brought the arguments to them from the industry funds sector. That's all right. They can talk up the book of those who want to keep everybody's assets in their funds rather than actually have to spend them in their retirement, which is why we have the superannuation tax concessions, so people can build up their retirement savings and then live on those retirement savings. What we're not going to do is we're not going to tax those savings like Bill Shorten wants to do. And that is the difference. We will not tax your super. Bill Shorten will.
Are we faced with a situation where the Greens are actually, I guess ironically for many people, being the most responsible when it comes to retirement savings, that they not only want to look at the pension situation but also super, and hence their agreement with you to extend the tax white paper so it can allow people to have at least that discussion, while your Treasurer and others are ruling that out?
Well,
you shouldn't rule it out.
No, the Greens have supported good policy here, and that's been the basis of our discussion the entire time, and we're very pleased with that outcome. I think Richard Di Natale has exposed Labor's Bill Shorten as just being all about politics, and Richard said he would be different to the previous leader, and I think on the basis of this, he has been different. But there's also Senator Xenophon, Leyonhjelm and others who are very engaged in this process. We believe very strongly that people's superannuation is their money. It's not a pension, it's not a welfare payment. A tax concession for super is not the same as a welfare payment.
But my income is my money as well. You tax that.
Yeah, and there are other taxation arrangements that apply to superannuation already, and we're not going to increase those taxes as the Labor Party does, and nothing we have done with the Greens has in any way changed the government's position on not taxing your super. We will not tax your super.
And finally, Di Natale, do you say he's more of a middle ground, moderate green, light green?
Well, look, all I can say is based on our professional working relationship on this issue is he engaged, he listened, he looked for good policy. There are other areas we have a massive disagreement on policy, and they're not areas where I could see us ever coming to an agreement. But on this issue, the Greens supported good policy. Bill Shorten went for politics, and the have-a-go budget is having a go.
Mr Morrison, thanks for your time.
Thank you.